let's talk about dividing polynomials. Okay, this is section 5.5 and 5.6 in your book. These first two examples are when we are dividing by a monomial. So that means one term, right? We know that. When we are dividing by one term, a monomial, then we can split them up. Okay, so, and we're going to remember to subtract the exponents when we divide, because that's what we do when we have a quotient rule. Okay, so for this one, it's over one term. That means that every single term is divided by 5x. So we're just going to split it up. Putting each term over 5x. And then you're just going to do 3 mini quotient rules, right? So that's when we subtract our exponents, okay? 25 divided by 5 is 5. And then 3 minus 1 is 2. 50 divided by 5 is 10. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then 40 divided by 5 is 8. And then 1 minus 1, right, is 0. So x to the 0 power, anything raised to the 0 power is 1. That's your zero product rule. So you just have -8, right? So that would be your answer right here. Just splitting them up. We're going to do it one more time. 10x cubed over 2x minus 8x squared over 2x plus 9x over 2x minus 4 over 2x. Okay, so 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then we're going to subtract 3 minus 1 and get 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, 9 divided by 2 is just 9 over 2. We can't simplify that. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. X to the 0 power is 1, right? So 9/2 times 1 is just 9/2, right? Then 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, and x is in the bottom. You see that? And there's no x up top. So that x needs to stay in the bottom. We didn't have anything to mess with our x, right? It just stayed in the bottom. So that would be our answer. Okay, so the key there is when you have your 1 minus 1s and you get 0, right? So 9/2 times 1. Anything raised to the 0 power is 1. And you had 9/2 times x to the 0. X to the 0 is 1. 9/2 times 1 is just 9/2. Okay, here you didn't even have an x. So you said 4 divided by 2 and you got 2, and your x needed to stay in the bottom. Okay, so that's when we are dividing by a monomial, which means we have one term in the bottom. When you divide by a binomial, you need to use long division. Okay, long division is something that you have dealt with before, but probably not for a very, very long time. Okay, so we are going to go over that, right? Just a little reminder of what you have. You put your dividend here, your divisor here on the outside, quotient goes up top with your remainder. Okay, here are the steps. You're going to set up your problem. Okay, that means put it like this. And we're going to fill in a 0 placeholder if you skip any exponent in standard form, right? Standard form means our exponents are descending, going down. So let's say we have 3, 1, 0. We would put in a 0 for our x squared. 3, 2, 1, 0 is what we needed to say. Okay, this will all make sense, more sense in a minute. Then you'll divide first term into first term, multiply, draw your line, and change your signs. Bring down the next term and start over with step 2. Okay, all of this will make sense in a minute. So that's why I kind of flew through that. But let's start with this, okay? We need to set it up, okay? Your divisor is this guy, okay? Divided by x plus 3. This goes on the outside. Your longer one goes on the inside. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 15 divided by x plus 3. Okay, now, here's what we want to do every single time. We want to say, okay, what number do I multiply the first term in my divisor by to get my first term in my dividend by? Okay, what do I need to multiply x by to get x squared? You would say x. Whatever number you get, that's the number you put up here. Okay, x times x gives you x squared. You want those first, you want to make this match this, and you're going to multiply this times whatever you need to get that first term. Okay, once you've picked your number, you're going to multiply here and here. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. Okay. All right, we're subtracting right here and right here. Because we're subtracting, we're going to go in and change the sign of that second line. Okay. If it's positive, make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive. Okay. So now we have x squared minus x squared. Well, that's 0. That should happen every single time. If it doesn't, something's wrong. Okay. Because what did we do at first? We said we want this to match this, right? So we wanted x to turn into x squared. That's the whole reason we multiplied by x. Then we distributed and got x squared. Then if we go in and change the sign of something that we just matched, it's going to equal 0, right? So you always, whenever you flip the sign, these should equal 0 every single time, okay? Then you have negative 2x minus 3x. That gives us, pick my color, negative 5x. Then you bring your next term down and do it all over again, okay? Now we're matching x with negative 5x. So what do we need to multiply x by to get negative 5x? You should say negative 5, right? Because remember, I want them to match. Then you're going to multiply. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Remember that they should match. Minus 15. Now I'm going to go in and change my signs to positive and positive. Well, when I did that, I'm left with negative 5x plus 5x is 0. That should happen no matter what, right? Because that's the same thing as this. And then negative 15 plus 15 is also 0. So that would be your remainder. So your answer is x minus 5, and your remainder is 0. You don't have to write that, but it is remainder 0. Okay. Hopefully that is somewhat familiar to you from probably 5th grade. Okay, but we're going to do plenty of them, so it kind of, you do the same thing every single time. So, all right, let's look at this one. Let's set it up. Okay, first step. What do I need to multiply this by to get this? Okay, I'm going to give you a second to think. 3x, and we want 9x cubed, so we need to multiply by 3. That gives us 9x squared, right? 3x squared times 3x is 9x cubed. Then you multiply. 9x cubed plus 6x squared. Okay. Your next step, change the signs. That's positive, so it needs to be negative. That's positive, so it also needs to be negative. I like to circle my negative there if I change it to a negative. Okay. Your first term should add to 0, right? 9x cubed minus 9x cubed is 0. If that doesn't happen, you're wrong. Okay. Now we have -3 minus 6 is -9x squared. Then bring down your next term, just your next term. Don't bring down your 4 yet. You'll do one at a time. Okay. Now we're matching this with this. Okay, so we need to multiply by -3. That gives us -9. X. X times x is x squared. Now we multiply. So you get -9x squared minus 6x. Change my signs, right? Plus. That gave me 0 with my x squareds. So -3 plus 6 is 3. Bring down your 4. And do it one more time. 3x needs to match 3x. Well, if I need to multiply 3x by something to get 3x, I just need to multiply by 1, right? So 3x times 1 is 3x, so they match. And then 1 times 2 gives me 2. I need to go in and change my signs. So 3x minus 3x is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay. 2 is your remainder. Okay. So your answer should look like 3x squared minus 3x plus 1, remainder 2. Okay, so this note over here, if you have a remainder, put it over the divisor and add or subtract if it's negative it to the answer. Okay, so this is how you can write your remainder pretty much anytime, but on your homework, it's going to ask you to write it that way. So on your test, this is fine. No big deal. Or you can write your remainder like this. Okay, so your remainder is 2. So you'll say plus 2 over your divisor, which is what's on the outside, right? Over this guy. Okay, so this is how you'll have to write your homework, okay? Just plus or minus. So if we had a -2, we would put minus here and just put it over your divisor. Okay, so not a huge deal. But this is okay for your test. That's how it'll be written. Okay. All right, look at this one. All right, look at this note over here. When you set up your problem, see if the dividend skips over any exponent counting down to 0. If you skip it, then you have to add a 0 placeholder, okay? So all the other ones, okay, look at this one. 3, 2, 1, 0. It didn't skip anything, right? This one goes 3, 1, 0. It skipped 2, right? So when we set this up, we need to account for that. And we need to say 4x cubed. We're missing our squared, right? Plus 0x squared minus 6x minus 11. You just need to account for it, okay? We're going to keep it like normal, okay? We're going to treat that 0 as if it were a 2, okay? Don't let that freak you out. Just whenever you see a problem like this and you see that something's missing, go in and go, okay, I'm missing my x squared term. And then write it in whenever you're doing it. Now we're just going to do the same process we did every single time, okay? We're going to match 2x and 4x cubed. So we're going to say 2x squared, and we're going to multiply 4x cubed minus 8x squared. Change our signs. Okay, we should get 0 here. And we're going to add down. Okay, nothing changed that it was 0. We're still adding down. And we get 8x squared. Bring the other one down. Do it all over again. We're going to match 2x and 8x squared. If I need that, I'm going to multiply by 4x. So we get 8x squared minus 16x. Change our signs. Okay. You got 0 with our 8x squareds. And you get 10. Bring down your negative 11. Do it one more time. 2x and 10x. So I need to multiply by 5. Because 5 times 2x gives me 10x. And then 5 times negative 4 gives me negative 20. I'm going to go in and change my signs. Okay. So we get negative, that gives us 0. Positive. So our leftover is 9. That's our remainder. So if we write our answer, we say 2x squared plus 4x plus 5 with a remainder of 9, okay? Or we write it as our remainder as plus 9 over our divisor, 2x minus 4. Okay. So the only difference in that one was our 0 placeholder. Okay. Last one. We have 4x cubed minus 5x. So we're missing our x term and our 0 term. So if we set this up, right? Then we do that same process we've been doing this whole time. 2x needs to match 4x squared. So 2x squared. Okay. Change your signs. You should get 0. We got 0, so we're good. Right? Add down 2x squared. Bring 5x down. Do it again. So we need to multiply times 2x. Nope, just x. Right? 2x times x give you 2x squared. So we get 2x squared. And then x times -1 is negative x. Change your signs. Gives us 0, that's what we want. Plus, so we get negative 4x. If it helps you to put a 1 right there, you can do that. Negative 4x, and then we're going to bring down our 0. So we have 2x, and we need it to say negative 4x, so we multiply by -2. And draw our arrows and get negative 4x. So now they match, that's good. Plus 2, go in, change our signs. That gives us 0, that's what we want. And we're left with -2 as our remainder. Okay, so if we were writing our answer, we would say 2x squared plus x minus 2 with a remainder of -2. On your homework, you need to write that as -2 over 2x minus 1. Okay, so the whole thing would look like this. Like that. Okay. And that is long division. Okay, so just following those steps every single time.